Hey, watch where you're going. The shout cracked through the supermarket like a whip. Lara stopped mid-step, her fingers tightening around the plastic basket hanging from her arm. The sudden movement made a bottle of juice tip dangerously close to falling. She steadied it without spilling a drop. I said watch it. The man repeated louder now. Or is that too hard for you? The air shifted. Conversations slowed. A child stopped whining. A cashier glanced up from her screen. Lara slowly lifted her eyes. She knew that voice. She hadn't heard it in years, but it lived in her memory the way scars lived on skin. Faded, but never gone. Mark. He stood a few feet away, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing the same smug confidence he'd always mistaken for strength. His mouth curled into a smile that wasn't friendly, wasn't surprised, just satisfied. Well, I'll be damned, he said. Look who crawled back. A few people nearby pretended not to stare, but no one moved away. Everyone sensed something unfolding. Lara said nothing. Her silence pleased him. He mistook it for fear. He had no idea it was restraint. Hello family, welcome to Endless Stories. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind people everywhere that patience, dignity, and quiet strength still matter. Now, let's begin. Lara never planned to return to Ridgewood. She had sworn she wouldn't. This town held too many ghosts. Late nights spent questioning her worth. Mornings filled with apologies she never owed. And memories of loving people who taught her how disposable she was. 7 years ago, she left with a single suitcase and a heart so heavy she could barely breathe under its weight. People remembered that girl. The girl who failed. The girl who cried too much. The girl who couldn't handle life. They didn't know the woman she became after she left. They never asked. Ridgewood hadn't changed. The buildings looked smaller now, like the town itself had shrunk while she was gone. The streets still carried gossip faster than truth. Smiles were still polite on the surface and sharp underneath. Lara kept her head down as she walked, not out of shame, but out of habit. Old instincts died slowly. Her phone vibrated in her coat pocket. I landed. I'm close. Erin. Her lips curved into a small, private smile. Erin never rushed her, never demanded details, never asked her to relive pain before she was ready. No one in Ridgewood knew she was married. And for now, she wanted it that way. The supermarket felt tight and crowded. Same flickering lights, same narrow aisles, same unspoken judgments. Lara moved quickly, grabbing what she needed, hoping to leave unnoticed. She almost made it. That you, Lara? Her body stiffened before she turned. Mark leaned against a shelf like he owned the place. Arms crossed, confidence spilling from him like he had nowhere else to put it. Didn't think you'd ever show your face here again, he said. Thought you ran away for good. I'm just shopping, Lara replied calmly. Mark laughed. Of course you are. What else would you be doing? A woman nearby pretended to study labels, listening carefully. Mark stepped closer. So tell me, he said, lowering his voice just enough to feel threatening. How long did it take before everything fell apart? She didn't answer. His smile sharpened. You always did that, he snapped. Act like you're above people when you've got nothing. He leaned in. You're nothing, Lara. You always were. A hush fell. Someone inhaled sharply. Lara felt the familiar heat rise in her chest. That old reflex. Shame disguised as guilt. She breathed through it. She had learned something in the years away. Silence wasn't weakness. It was control. She stepped sideways to pass him. That's when he shoved her. Not hard enough to knock her down, just hard enough to humiliate her. Get out of my way, he said loudly. Useless. The word echoed. People stared openly now. Mark straightened, clearly enjoying the attention. He expected tears, an apology, a crack. Instead, Lara adjusted her balance and stood tall. Her voice was calm. Are you done? Mark blinked. What? I asked if you're done. Confusion crossed his face. He laughed too quickly. You think you have pride now? That's adorable. She walked away, and that bothered him more than anything. Outside, the evening air cooled her skin. Lara stood near the entrance, letting the pounding in her chest settle. She hadn't realized how much she'd been bracing for that moment, how deeply his words still knew where to land. Her phone vibrated again. 2 minutes. She typed back. Okay. Mark followed her out. You really think you can just ignore me? He said loudly. People exiting the store slowed again. You embarrassed me in there. I didn't say anything, she replied. You didn't have to, he snapped. You always play innocent. He stepped closer, voice sharp and public. Everyone knows why you're back. Broke. Out of options. No one else would have you. She looked at him steadily. They're wrong. He laughed. Sure they are. Then, the sound of an engine rolled through the parking lot. Low, smooth, controlled. A black luxury SUV pulled in near the entrance. Not flashy. Not local. Powerful without trying. The doors opened. 2 men in tailored suits stepped out first, scanning the area with calm precision. Then another door opened. Aaron stepped out. The space seemed to shrink around him. Not because he was loud, but because his presence carried weight. He walked straight to Lara and placed a gentle hand on her back. I'm sorry I'm late, he said softly. Traffic. She smiled. You're right on time. Mark scoffed. And who's this supposed to be? Aaron turned slowly. I'm her husband. The word landed like a dropped glass. Husband. Mark laughed nervously. That's funny. One of the suited men stepped slightly forward. Sir, he said politely, you may want to lower your voice. And who are you? Mark snapped. Head of security. Another man added calmly. And I'm legal counsel. Phones came out. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Someone recognized Aaron's name. Someone whispered it out loud. Mark's face drained of color. You're that Aaron? He stammered. Aaron didn't answer. He didn't need to. Lara finally spoke. You were right once, she said quietly. I left with nothing. She paused. But I didn't stay that way. She turned away, Aaron's hand steady at her back. They walked toward the SUV. No shouting. No insults. No revenge. Just dignity. As the vehicle pulled away, Ridgewood stood frozen, watching the woman they once dismissed leave on her own terms. If this story reminded you that the strongest people don't always fight back loudly, please like and subscribe to Endless Stories, because sometimes the greatest comeback is simply becoming unrecognizable to those who once underestimated you.